President Ono, Santa, it is a pleasure to bring you greetings on behalf of all of Emory University. I'm pleased that Emory has a place on your resume. But you have absorbed also the ethos and atmosphere of a number of other institutions, whether it's Chicago or McGill, Johns Hopkins, University College London, and now Cincinnati. You have served on the faculty of these institutions, and so you know what it means to nurture teaching and research, scholarship, and service. You served in the classroom, and so you have sensed the excitement of what it means to challenge bright and inquiry-driven.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be doing this today. I'm so sorry I can't be with you. The University of Cincinnati has chosen a brilliant new leader, Santa Ono, and I am proud to welcome him to higher education in Ohio, and I'm very proud to call him my colleague. So in honor of him and in honor of the University of Cincinnati, I brought some of my very close friends with me, the best damn band in the land.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Corbett Auditorium. Ohio state law requires that we notify our audiences of all available exits in case of an emergency. Please take time now to observe all marked exits. The consumption of food or drink and the use of recording devices is prohibited. We ask that you turn off all cell phones and pagers at this time. Thank you for your attention. This morning's ceremony will begin shortly.
I'm the chair of the university's faculty, and it is my pleasure to declare the investiture ceremony for Dr. Santa Jeremy Ono as the 28th president of the University of Cincinnati has begun. Please rise for the national anthem as it is sung in solo performance by Thomas Richards, artist diploma student in the College-Conservatory of Music. The audience is asked to then remain standing for the invocation, which will be delivered by the Reverend Bruce A. Freeman, a rector at the Episcopal Church of the Redeemer, President Ono's home parish here in Cincinnati.
Sacred One, gracious God, uniting Spirit, fount of wisdom, divine companion on our common journey. On this festive day of rededication and renewal, we gather together, a diverse community united by a love of learning, the spirit of truth and faithfulness to the people of Cincinnati, the tri-state region, the nation, and the world. We ask your blessing upon our 28th president, Dr. Santa J. Ono, as he continues his leadership amongst us. May he be blessed with gifts of wisdom, patience, courage, and so many others, each when they are called for, all when they are needed. We eagerly anticipate the energetic, enthusiastic, social media supported, and excellent leadership of a president already guiding us with his infectious joy and a clear vision for the next chapter in UC's noble history. May Santa be a servant to all in the Cincinnati community, and may his energy and leadership energize in all of us a spirit of boldness and commitment. We ask your blessings on this wonderful occasion and on all gathered here in celebration, solidarity, and great expectation. In your name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated.
Thank you, Reverend Freeman, for those wonderful words. And good morning to everyone. I'm Peter Landgren, Dean of the College-Conservatory of Music here at the wonderful University of Cincinnati. It's my honor and pleasure to welcome you to CCM for such a joyous and historic occasion. Congratulations, President Ono, on your installation today, and welcome one and all to CCM, alma mater of many Grammy, Emmy, and Tony winners. CCM has been the training ground for such luminaries as Kathleen Battle, Al Hurt, Faith Prince, Suzanne Farrell, and Leroy Reams, amongst many, many others. And this morning, we're delighted to introduce you to some of our current students who may soon follow in their star-studded footsteps. You will be witnessing some wonderful performances, and you have already heard today the amazing talents of the CCM Brass Choir, conducted by Timothy Northcutt, as well as the voice of bass baritone Thomas Richards. Thomas, a student in our Artist Diploma Opera program who sang our national anthem, is a recent grand prize winner of the Metropolitan Opera National Council auditions, and the last ensemble that he performed with was the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra. Let's please thank Thomas, the brass choir, and conductor, Professor Thomas Northcutt, and our wonderful brass students for their contributions this morning already. In recent years, some of UC's presidential investiture ceremonies have been held in Fifth Third Bank Arena, and we were truly honored that Dr. Ono asked if we could host this wonderful installation right here in the CCM Village in the beautiful Corbett Auditorium. With the support and generosity of our benefactors and friends, CCM programs rank amongst the nation's best, and we hope that you will enjoy seeing and hearing some of our great student and faculty talent in action throughout the year in roughly the 1,000 performances that we present at this great college each and every year. It's now my pleasure to introduce another star in the Queen City's crown, the Master of Ceremonies for today's investiture. Mr. Clyde Gray has served more than 25 years as a reporter and anchor in Cincinnati. He is the winner of 2 Emmys, the prestigious Sigma Delta Chi Journalism Award, and Columbia University Poupont Award. He currently anchors the 11 p.m. newscast at his longtime broadcast station, WCO-TV Channel 9. Please welcome the distinguished Clyde Gray.
Peter, thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. It is an unsurpassed honor to have the opportunity to serve as the Master of Ceremonies for such an important occasion, the investiture of UC's 28th president, Dr. Santa J. Ono, a president who has embraced both the university and who has embraced the Cincinnati region with full and open arms widespread, and also with all of those fingers he uses for keying in his thousands of Twitter messages. Dr. Ono, it is reported by UC Magazine, averages about 17 tweets per day on a slow day. And what's so endearing about Dr. Ono's tweets is that he doesn't just talk about UC, which you would expect. He also comments on Cincinnati, the city that Dr. Ono has grown to love since he arrived at UC as the provost nearly 3 years ago. The Reds, favorite restaurants, beautiful sunsets, great concerts and shows, all of these aspects of Cincinnati have gained his attention and his admiration, all described in 140 characters or less. All kidding aside, the university community and Cincinnati at large have in turn enthusiastically welcomed him. The president that we are officially installing today was selected through a search committee process and ultimately appointed by UC's Board of Trustees. To bring greetings from both the board and the search committee is the chairman of both, C. Francis Barrett, chairman of the UC Board of Trustees, Mr. Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Clyde Gray. As the chairman of the University of Cincinnati Board of Trustees and as a UC alumnus, I am very pleased with the unanimous choice that our search committee recommended and which the board approved in the appointment of Dr. Ono as UC's 28th president. Let me take a moment to introduce the other members of the UC Board of Trustees who are on stage with us today. I would ask them to rise as I call their names and ask them all to remain standing until all the names have been read. Vice Chairman of the Board, Thomas Humes. Secretary of the Board, Rob Richardson. Trustee, Thomas Cassidy. Trustee, Wim Portman. Trustee, Ginger Warner. Trustee, Carl Linner III. Undergraduate Trustee, Nick Hertline. Thank you very much for your service to the university. I would be remiss if I did not recognize the dedicated members of the Presidential Search Committee that brought about this important decision. Representing the faculty, Richard Miller, Richard Harknett, Marla Hall, Peter Stambrook. Representing the student body, graduate students Joshua Smith and Portia Watkins. Undergraduate students Nick Hertline, Lane Hart, and Mesa Idris. Deans Ron Jackson of Arts and Sciences, Thomas Boat of Medicine, Louis Bilionis of Law, and Robert Probst of Design, Architecture, Art, and Planning. Representing the foundation, Dolores Learmonth and William Lauer. Community and business leaders, Judge Sylvia Hendon, Mr. Ronald Joseph, Reverend Damon Lynch Jr., Mayor Mark Mallory, and past board chair Sandy Hyman. Representing UCATS and athletics, Steve Boymel, Ike Masali, Peg Valentine. Representing the University Alumni Association, Lawrence Jones III. Representing the Ohio Board of Regents, Stephanie Davidson and Gary Cates. And also members of the Board of Trustees, Rob Richardson, Wim Portman, Ginger Warner, Tom Cassidy, and Tom Humes. I'd also like to recognize and thank our executive assistant, Nicole Blunt, who coordinated all of these important endeavors. Dr. Ono impressed the members of our search committee with his unlimited enthusiasm and energy. His accessibility to UC's many constituencies, especially our students, was something we found most impressive. Beyond his ability to connect with people, from students to alumni and to donors, Dr. Ono is a distinguished scholar. He is in every sense a modern-day Renaissance man, trained in experimental medicine and immunology. He is a scientist who specializes in eye diseases. He's also a musician who loves the arts and serves on the boards of many of Cincinnati's grandest art institutions. As the son of Japanese-American immigrants who came to the United States following World War II with only one suitcase carrying all of their worldly possessions, he embodies the highest of American ideals. One final point I would like to emphasize is that our Board of Trustees is so confident in Dr. Ono's ability and talent that we took a step most unusual in these days, unprecedented in the history of our university. We offered and he accepted a 10-year contract, and we fully hope that he will lead UC not only for the next decade, but also beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett. Our next speaker is United States Senator, who just earlier this week met with President Ono and the leaders of higher education from across the state at a summit in Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a native of Mansfield, U.S. Senator from Ohio, Sherrod Brown.
Thank you. Clyde, thank you. Senator Portman. Senator Portman and I were just admiring the 10-year contract that you signed. So, Rob, good to be in your hometown, and Chairman of the Board, Barrett, and thank you all. And the story, Rob and I were just talking a second ago about the greatness of this country, that the son of Japanese immigrants coming to this country with almost nothing except a work ethic and an idealism and a spirit and a love for their family is able to, 60 years later, do so much. So congratulations to you. And thanks very much, Dr. Landgren. You honor us by allowing us to come here. Thanks especially to the brass choir of CCM. Earlier this week, as Clyde said, Dr. Ono joined Rob and me in Washington for 6 years. I've gathered together 50 or so presidents, 2 4-year public-private college and university presidents in Ohio to us how to move our state forward. Dr. Ono joined us this year and told the Inquirer afterwards, talked about the importance of Pell Grants, talked about the importance of medical research, talked about the impact in the spiritual life and the economic life that a great university and a great city has, and said that so very, very well. And we know that in only 3 short years in this community, how Dr. Ono has been so engaged in the community, from one of the great children's hospitals in the country, Cincinnati Children's, to his work with the symphony, to his work going into the schools, a little less heralded, but equally maybe more important, in talking to K through 12 students so that they can get the same opportunities he has had. When I think of Dr. Ono, I think back to something I was privileged to go to on January 21st, 2009. A tradition in this country since President Washington is that the president we hold in this nation a national prayer service. And I joined the new president and the new vice president and their spouses, and Connie and I joined with a number of other House members and senators at the National Cathedral on January 1st, 2009. And the preacher at that, the woman who presided, who preached the sermon, first woman in American history, was a woman named Sharon Watkins from Georgia. And Reverend Watkins shared a story that I will briefly share. She talked about a story from the Cherokee Nation where a grandfather was talking to his grandson. And the grandfather said, to his grandson, inside each of us, 2 wolves are battling one another. One wolf is the wolf of fear and anger and resentment. The other wolf is the wolf of hope and tolerance and understanding and love. And he stopped, and the grandson said, well, Grandpa, which one wins? And the grandfather said, the one that wins is the one you feed. And Dr. Ono, his whole career has been feeding the right wolf. We know he will do that in this community as he has, and move forward. Thank you.
Senator Brown, thank you very much. And as it turns out, this is a bipartisan event. Both of Ohio's U.S. senators are here. Please welcome a longtime congressman and former U.S. Trade Representative and now U.S. Senator, Rob Portman.
Thank you all. Thank you, Clyde, very much for not just what you're doing here today, but the fact that you do so much in our community. I told Clyde I saw him at 11:30 last night, and I saw him again at 8:30 this morning. He was with Carol last night on the air. It's great to be here at the hashtag hottest college in America. And it's great to be at the hottest College-Conservatory of Music in America. Brother Wim, Brother Wim would not be on the board, and I would not be able to be representing you in Washington but for CCM. That's not an exaggeration. Our grandmother came to CCM from Tennessee to study music, where she met my grandfather, a first-generation Swiss immigrant who was living in Cincinnati. And therefore, the Portmans are here in Cincinnati. So thank you, CCM. The last time I was here was for the graduation in December. It was Dr. Ono's first commencement, as you all know, and my job was supposed to be the speaker, but the real job I had was to enforce the promise he had made to shave his head after the 10th straight victory of the Bearcat basketball team. So I brought clippers with me, and that very day on the December graduation, you may recall, was the 10th straight victory. I am happy to say that Dr. Ono kept his commitment. I would also say, Santa, that having seen you with a bald head, you might want to make it 20 straight next season. It came back great, though, didn't it? Very thick, healthy, looking good. But, you know, he didn't just shave his head. He made it into an event for others. And as you recall, he made it specifically into an event for children who had to undergo chemotherapy because of cancer treatments. And he raised money for them, raised awareness for them. And that's what kind of guy he is. Fran talked a little about that, but he is extraordinary. He's this rare combination. He's a scholar. He's a scientist. He's a leader in higher education, thoughtful leader. He loves students. And that's a combination that the University of Cincinnati, I think, is very blessed to have. He also has this unique way, as was mentioned earlier, to communicate with those students through social media. And if you don't believe it, just go follow his tweets, as I'm sure many of you do, at Pres Ono. Here's one I saw recently that I liked. So a student tweets him. He says, made my day seeing at Pres Ono drive up to his house in the Bearcat mobile, listening to Thrift Shop. Okay, I would have no idea what Thrift Shop was except that I have 3 kids. And so I know the song a little bit thanks to them. So here's Ono's reply. What? That's part of the song, okay. I'm gonna pop some tags this weekend. Part of the song too, it's clean, that's good. It's the thrift shop, the tags in the thrift shop. Hashtag, just saying. So add hip to that list of attributes that I named earlier. So look, as Sherrod said well, we need good leaders right now in our institutions of higher learning, in part because our economy needs it, in part because we need to have a better trained workforce. And here we have this university that is now cutting edge, not just in Ohio, but nationally, in a number of areas. Certainly health sciences, where Dr. Ono has a specific background and expertise, but also workforce development generally, so many other important areas, like we see here at CCM, truly a national leader. And that combination of this man with his talents and that great university means that there is no telling how far they can go together. So congratulations, Dr. Ono. Go Bearcats.
Senator Portman, thank you very much for your well-chosen words and for the subtle endorsement of a certain TV station's news operation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. The University of Cincinnati, although it was founded as a municipal university, has, since 1977, been a part of the university system of Ohio. And now we will hear from the interim chancellor of that system, which encompasses 14 universities with 24 regional branch campuses, 23 community colleges, and more than 120 adult workforce and education centers. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Stephanie Davidson.
Thank you very much. On behalf of the Board of Regents in the state of Ohio, I'd like to welcome everyone this morning as we celebrate the investiture of the 28th President of the University of Cincinnati, Dr. Santa Ono. I had the pleasure of serving on the UC Presidential Search Committee last fall. In the time I spent talking with Dr. Ono, I was deeply impressed with his dedication to and passion for this university, its students, and the surrounding community. He's unmistakably a devoted teacher, scholar, administrator, husband and father, I can't think of a better set of qualities for a president of one of the country's premier universities. These qualities play out in all aspects of his leadership. It's important to have a leader who can relate equally to the university's mission on an academic level and its students on a personal level. And as we've heard thus far, Dr. Ono does both very well. He's a leader in the promotion of undergraduate participation in the STEM fields. His advancement of women's and minorities' participation in science is visionary and is sure to enhance Ohio's workforce into the future. And as we've also heard, his leadership extends well beyond the university's campus. His service touches all aspects of the university community, from business and industry to early education and to the arts. Now more than ever, the University of Cincinnati and other members of the University System of Ohio must work together to increase college access, affordability, and completion. Consider the facts. Today, only 36% of Ohio's population holds an associate degree or higher. But by 2020, we know that more than 60% of the jobs in Ohio will require a post-secondary education. The overarching goal at the Board of Regents and in the University System of Ohio is to increase the number of Ohioans with the degrees and certificates needed to create and retain jobs in our state. The future of Ohio's economy depends on it, and I know that President Ono and the University of Cincinnati are ready and willing to contribute to this effort. The Board of Regents looks forward to continuing our relationship with Dr. Ono and seeing where his efforts and leadership will take this university and our state in the years ahead. Congratulations, Dr. Ono. We wish you the best, and we know that you will strive to make this great university and our state even better. And now it's my pleasure to share greetings sent by Ohio Governor John Kasich and Lieutenant Governor Mary Taylor. The Governor and the Lieutenant Governor do hereby officially recognize Santa Jeremy Ono as you celebrate your investiture. As you become the president of the University of Cincinnati, we look forward to the positive influence you will have on the students and the staff. The University of Cincinnati is committed to excellence, and we are certain you will uphold this tradition. Thank you for your dedicated service to the principles of higher education. On behalf of all Ohioans, we extend our best wishes to you as you begin this new chapter.
Dr. Davidson, thank you very much. In addition to those who have given greetings this morning and the UC Board of Trustees that Mr. Barrett mentioned, our stage is filled with many others who wanted to be here today to wish UC's new president well. Joining Chancellor Davidson from the state is Tim Burke, a member of the Ohio Board of Regents. Also on stage today are visiting presidents, including 5 from Greater Cincinnati colleges and universities, as well as the officers of the University of Cincinnati, including the President's Cabinet and the Academic Operations Committee, represented by the deans of all of UC's colleges and its vice provosts. The President and Student Government, President of Student Government, my apologies, and the President of the Graduate Student Governance Association are representing students, and representing the university staff are several leaders of the collective bargaining units. As is the tradition at university inaugurations, peer institutions from across the country have sent delegates to be part of today's festivities. 50 delegates are here today. Their names are listed in your program this morning. In addition to those listed, there are 4 delegates whose names were submitted after the program was sent to the printer, and we want to recognize them: John Barrett of the University of Toledo, Marcy Goldsmith of Wake Forest University, Eileen Greenberg Kreiner of Temple University, and James Menninger of Princeton University. On our stage and in our audience are a number of elected officials. Among them are Ohio State Senator Bill Seitz, Ohio State Representatives Peter Beck, Lou Blessing III, Margie Condit, Denise Driehaus, Tim Derrickson, Doug Green, and Peter Stoutberg. And Cincinnati City Council members Charles Winburn, Wendell Young, and Yvette Simpson, and Hamilton County Sheriff Jim Neal. We also have City Manager Milton Dahoney with us as well. In our next section of the ceremony this morning, the students who are so much at the center of Dr. Ono's priorities for the university will bring greetings and congratulations to their new university president. First, we will hear from the newly sworn-in student president, Joseph Blizzard. He will be followed by a solo performance featuring CCM doctoral student in cello, Carmen Miranda. Joe Blizzard.
Good morning. It is my honor and pleasure to welcome Dr. Ono on behalf of the student body. Over the past 3 years, Dr. Ono has kept students at the forefront of every decision that he has made. He often tweets to us, as you've heard, and to ask for advice on a wide range of topics, from which restaurant to try to what the popular music is. The best part of his outreach, though, is that the students respond. They're truly engaged in the happenings at the University of Cincinnati, and that's something that should truly be recognized. Dr. Ono's engagement is inspiring and makes our university seem much smaller than a community of 42,000 students. He helps us feel at home. The student body is ecstatic to have Dr. Ono at the helm, and we are looking to all that the university will accomplish over his tenure as president of the University of Cincinnati. On behalf of the student body, I would like to wish you, Dr. Ono, the best during your time here at UC. We know that you will serve us well. And now, ladies and gentlemen, CCM student Carmen Miranda.
Our thanks this morning to Joe Blizzard. The piece today was the prelude from Bach's Cello Suite No. 3 in C major. I remember that from my musical education. Carmen has recently released a recording with Centaur Records that features all 6 cello suites by Bach. Now we will hear from 3 representatives of Dr. Ono's peer group, members of the higher education community. First, we will hear video greetings from a former colleague at Emory, President James Wagner. That will be followed by President Gordon Gee of Ohio State, also on video. Then a colleague here in Cincinnati, Father Michael Graham, President of Xavier University, who is here in person, will offer his brief comments.
President Ono, Santa, it is a pleasure to bring you greetings on behalf of all of Emory University. I'm pleased that Emory has a place on your resume, but you have absorbed also the ethos and atmosphere of a number of other institutions, whether it's Chicago or McGill or Johns Hopkins or University College London, and now Cincinnati. You have served on the faculty of these institutions, and so you know what it means to nurture teaching and research, scholarship, and service. You served in the classroom, and so you have sensed the excitement of what it means to challenge bright and inquiry-driven minds. And in the laboratory, in research, you have established yourself nationally as a major contributor to your own discipline. You have heard the call for universities to be committed to educating both the mind and the heart, not merely educating credentialed graduates. And now you bring all of that background to respond to the privilege and responsibility that you have been offered to lead an institution that in its own way has been a pioneer in leadership of all that is good and right in higher education. May the University of Cincinnati encourage the success of its new president, just as I know that the new president will work diligently for the success of the university. Together, may you forge a bright and eminent future. Congratulations and best wishes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to be doing this today. I'm so sorry I can't be with you. The University of Cincinnati has chosen a brilliant new leader, Santa Ono, and I am proud to welcome him to higher education in Ohio, and I'm very proud to call him my colleague. So in honor of him and in honor of the University of Cincinnati, I brought some of my very close friends with me, the best damn band in the land. Well, I bet you never heard that fight song sound so good. Anyway, welcome to higher education. We are so grateful to have such a great university in Ohio as the University of Cincinnati. Go Bearcats.
And now we will hear from Father Graham.
Thank you, Clyde. My favorite poet is the Irish Jesuit Gerard Manley Hopkins, and my favorite Hopkins poem is his sonnet, Spring. Here is how it begins. Nothing is so beautiful as spring, when weeds and wheels shoot long and lovely and lush. Thrush's eggs look little low heavens, and thrush through the echoing timber does so rinse and ring the ear. It strikes like lightnings to hear him sing. The glassy pear tree leaves and blooms. They brush the descending blue. That blue is all in a rush with richness. The racing lambs, too, have fair their fling. Nothing is so beautiful as spring. With all due apologies to my brother Jesuit Gerard Manley Hopkins, what we do here today is more incandescent by far than any spring day could ever be. This renewal of hope and possibility, through which a future will be born, and those who will build that future will be formed and fortified. Dr. Ono, Santa, congratulations to you and to your family on this happy, happy day. Congratulations and thank you for your willingness to undertake a difficult task in a changing industry at an unparalleled time. But know that for those with eyes to see, the world is charged with promise and possibility. Congratulations and welcome to the privileged colleagueship of those who shoulder to shoulder and institution by institution work to make our city, our region, our nation, our world more prosperous, more fair, more proud, more free. Congratulations and good luck. Godspeed those with whom and for whom you will work in this great and important enterprise to build a future you will never fully see with your own eyes, but towards which you nonetheless lean even now in hope. I look forward to working with you in any way I can as you move forward in this great undertaking which you begin afresh today, through which, if I may say, you will, in point of fact, discover afresh yourself. Along the way, may you come as well to know in your heart and in your bones the deep truth, the pleasure even, at the end of Hopkins' sonnet. Most, O maid's child, thy choice, and worthy the winning. Thank you.
Thank you, President Father Michael Graham, President James Wagner, and President Gordon Gee. Fellow members of the Board of Trustees, Senator Brown, Senator Portman, Chancellor Davidson, Regent Burke, and other distinguished guests on the dais, and all other distinguished guests not on the dais, students, faculty, administrators, staff, alumni, emeriti, donors, neighbors, and friends. Many of you may wonder, why have a presidential investiture? Our new president was appointed in October. This ceremony marks the occasion in which Dr. Ono is formally invested with the office of the president. It is an opportunity for all of us present today who share a deep and abiding interest in the University of Cincinnati to recognize this turning point, this moment of new promise and transformation. In addition to those here in person, all within the UC community have an opportunity to share in this occasion by watching it on webcast. In Dr. Ono, we invest our hopes that the finest traditions of this university will be preserved and that a higher level of accomplishment will be attained as we move forward. This occasion, this moment, is ultimately a celebration of hope in the future and of the aspiration to become an ever greater university. We are grateful that so many of you have been able to join us as we now conduct the formal investiture of Dr. Ono. Dr. Ono, would you please come to the center? I would ask Dean Katie Short-Thompson to stand to Dr. Ono's right, Dean Thomas Boat to stand to Dr. Ono's left, and I would ask Vice Chair Thomas Humes to pick up the university medallion, to display it to the audience, and then stand to the side. Dr. Santa Jeremy Ono, it is my privilege to formally invest you with as the University of Cincinnati's 28th president. The process that has brought us to this moment has been a purposeful and thoughtful one. With the help of students, faculty, alumni, administrators, trustees, and members of the external community, the search committee identified the ideal candidate best suited to lead UC into the future. That selection was approved by the Board of Trustees. It was deemed that no candidate was more qualified to lead this university than Dr. Santa Jeremy Ono. In President Ono, we confidently and enthusiastically entrust the leadership of the University of Cincinnati, an institution with a proud and distinctive heritage. Founded first in 1819, not as a university, but as Cincinnati College in the Ohio Medical College, this institution has been formed of many enterprises, not of one. We became a university by accretion, combination, and amalgamation. And through that process, our character was formed. Today, that character lives on in our work as a public, comprehensive institution of higher learning and research. We strive to provide the highest quality learning environment underpinned with experiential learning opportunities, world-renowned scholarship and research, collaboration, mission-based healthcare, and community and global engagement. At our core lies a commitment to transformation, not just of those who come to this institution as students and scholars, but also of the world around us through engagement, innovation, and discovery. Believing you to be a person who possesses the qualities uniquely needed to lead this university to ever greater heights, it is my pleasure, by the power vested in me by the Board of Trustees, to declare you, Dr. Santa Jeremy Ono, the 28th President of the University of Cincinnati. The symbol of your authority and responsibility is the gold chain and seal presented to you by Dean Katie Short Thompson and by Dean Thomas Boat. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Dr. Santa Jeremy Ono, President of the University of Cincinnati.
Today, I have the distinct honor and privilege of introducing my friend, Dr. Santa Ono, as the 28th President of the University of Cincinnati. You know, Dr. Ono has only been in Cincinnati for 3 years, but in that short time, he's managed to make a bigger impact than many have in their entire life. You know, I've never met anyone, and I love our city, but you know, sometimes it takes a while for outsiders to be in the community and become really connected. But Dr. Ono's been able to do it in a very short time, but I think it's because of the type of person Dr. Ono is. Anybody who's ever met him will really say the same things about him. He has a genuine interest and empathy towards everybody he meets, no matter who they are. If they're a student, if they're a janitor, if they're a CEO, he treats everybody with the same genuine respect. And I believe it's that empathy. I believe it's that reason that he is connected with so many in this community so quickly. You know, I've also never met a leader who has worked so hard to be accessible to the students and really cares about the students and cares about their experience. But maybe I'm giving him too much credit. It's not like he's that busy. I mean, he only has to run the University of Cincinnati, which is also the largest employer in the region, from day to day, attend community events at night and fundraisers at night, and also maintain a medical research practice, all while finding time to be a father and a husband. So I know we have to thank your family for all the sacrifices that you make, and we thank them for their sacrifices. But you know, as has been mentioned many times, he has an impressive social media footprint. And if you've looked it up, I did a little research. He has 4,994 friends on Facebook. But I got to say, that was as of Wednesday, so it could be up to 6,000. And he also has a really impressive, as has been mentioned many times, Twitter account. He has over 15,800 followers on Twitter and has sent out an impressive over 16,300 tweets. Now, just to give you some idea, because I did a little more research, that is more tweets than both Senator Brown and Senator Portman. So you guys got to up your game. You know, most of you know that President Ono has coined the University of Cincinnati as hashtag the hottest college in America. Well, I want it to be known today that we have the best president in all of higher education in America. So I introduce to you my friend, our leader, the 28th president of the University of Cincinnati, Dr. Santa Ono.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone. That's amazing. As you probably could see, I've been overcome a little bit by emotion. I'm sort of an emotional kind of guy. I'd like to thank the United States Senator Sherrod Brown, United States Senator Rob Portman, Interim Chancellor Stephanie Davidson, member of the Ohio Board of Regents Tim Burke, and the many state and local elected officials, visiting delegates, our trustees, administration, faculty, staff, alumni, friends, and students of the University of Cincinnati, as well as military veterans and ROTC students for being here today. Heartfelt thanks also to those of you viewing today's events from afar on streaming video. I'm especially grateful to my wife Wendy and my daughters Juliana and Sarah for their love and understanding, and to my friends and family for traveling long distances to be with me on this special occasion. Your collective presence today warms my heart. I also want to take a moment to recognize Mrs. B. Winkler, widow of Henry Winkler, our much beloved President Emeritus who passed away on December 26. We know that Dr. Winkler is watching over us this very day. To Chairman C. Francis Barrett and past chairs Buck Niehoff and Sandy Hyman, thanks for your unflinching support of me over the past 3 years while I served as provost and then president, being my partner as we guide the university together. Thanks to all of our board members, our UC Foundation trustees, and our UC Alumni Association Board of Governors for your sage advice, friendship, and collaboration. UC would not be what it is today were it not for your service to your alma mater. Our great university was founded in 1819 when Cincinnati College and the Medical College of Ohio were established. It was in that year that Dr. Daniel Drake, the renowned physician, educator, and scholar, convinced the state legislature to grant charters to these two colleges that would together constitute one of the oldest medical colleges in the nation, the oldest west of the Alleghenies. In 1835, President William Holmes McGuffey would add a College of Law and the world's largest observatory at the time to broaden the scope of the institution. Charles McMicken would bequeath his estate to the city in 1858. This would greatly strengthen the institution, bringing the liberal arts to the university. And this transformative gift is remembered still today with our iconic McMicken Hall and our McMicken College of Arts and Sciences. The colleges would be amalgamated in 1870 as the University of Cincinnati, becoming one of America's first and largest municipal universities. Colleges of Allied Health, Applied Science, Art, Business, Education, Engineering, Music, Nursing, Pharmacy, and a graduate school would later be added, as would be two regional colleges, UC Blue Ash and Claremont College. By the time I was born in 1962, The University of Cincinnati was in a state of financial distress. There were insufficient municipal funds to support the growing institution, much less make necessary repairs to an aging physical plant. In 1967, UC would become state-affiliated, and in 1977, UC became the 12th university within the university system of Ohio. Today, the University of Cincinnati consists of 14 colleges and boasts 42,000 students, 16,000 employees, including almost 6,000 faculty members, making it one of America's largest institutions of higher education. Over the years, UC has morphed into a research powerhouse with an annual budget of $1.1 billion and over $405 million per year in sponsored research. Facilities are spread across patient care in a fully integrated $1.6 billion health system. The university has also grown in stature, with 11 programs now that rank in the top 10 in America and 34 programs in our nation's top 50. Several programs in music, musical theater, design, classics, paleontology, criminal justice, emergency medicine, pediatrics, inflammation research, and environmental science, to name just a few, are among the very best, not only in this nation, but in the world. We remain one of the region's largest employers, and we are an economic engine for the state, with an estimated annual impact approximately $3.5 billion per year. Here, on top of this, right here, our College-Conservatory of Music remains the single busiest site for the fine arts in the entire state of Ohio, and our athletic teams compete at the highest levels in NCAA competition. Our CCM faculty has included luminaries such as Dorothy DeLay and Awadajan Pratt, and has graduated multiple winners of Tonys, Grammys, and Emmys, as well as graduated the opera star Kathleen Battle, the pop star Faith Prince, and the Hollywood composer Randy Edelman, composer of Mask, Ghostbusters, and The Last of Mohicans. It was on UC playing fields that the Big O, Oscar Robertson, who's with us today, Kenyon Martin, Tony Trabert, Sandy Koufax, and Kevin Euclid cut their teeth here at the University of Cincinnati. With such a storied history, UC certainly has much to be proud of just within our campus. But what matters even more to me, and indeed what I think is part of our ethos, is that we as an institution have always been determined to be innovative, have always dared to imagine, and have committed to influencing the world well beyond our campus. I submit that it is this ethos that has led to UC having an immense impact around the globe on how we think, on how we teach, how we govern, how we heal, how we build, how we dance, how we sing, how we care, and how we manage in the real world. And I say to you today that as this university's president, I will not allow us to ever become simply an ivory tower on this hill in Clifton or on our regional campuses. I will ensure that we are forever connected with the city, the state, the nation, and the world, and through those connections remain a transformative force in society. Some may say that something as ephemeral as ethos, something as ambiguous as imagination or innovation or real-world connectivity cannot possibly lie at the heart of an institution. But I say that these core values are everything. The focus of an institution on its core values, such as imagination and a commitment to real-world problems, is not dissimilar to the galvanizing force of a flag for a nation. Who can forget the War of 1812, when a vast armada of British warships was working their way up to Chesapeake Bay as part of Britain's attempt to conquer the new nation? As they approached the major port and commercial city that would become my hometown, Baltimore, it appeared certain that that city would fall, as would the new nation. Who can forget the young Francis Scott Key, who witnessed the entire battle and wrote about the significance of Fort McHenry to the nation in that poem? He wrote, as you heard earlier today, "Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight of the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof to the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave over the land of the free and the home of the brave?" Now think about that flag and its association with our nation's core values of freedom, equality, and justice for all. For millions of Americans and over several generations, I submit to you that that image of that tattered flag captured by Francis Scott Key's verse, and our knowledge that thousands, hundreds of thousands of soldiers have died in defense of what the flag stands for and our nation, lies at the very heart and soul of what it means to be American. In a similar vein, guarding imagination, innovation, and real-world connections as core values at UC is, in my view, my most profound and important responsibility. It was only 7 short years after the War of 1812 that this university was founded. I've told you about the fits and starts of our university and how it has grown into a research-extensive university, and by definition, one of the top 2.3% of universities in America, as designated by the Carnegie Foundation. Our founder, Daniel Drake, held his core values in the creation of a nascent medical college, a place dedicated to imagination, innovation, and a connection to real-world medical problems. Along the way, UC has preserved this ethos over nearly 200 years, transformed the lives of millions of students, but also transformed the city, the state, the region, the nation, and indeed the world. Let me remind you of just a few of the ways UC has transformed this to this very day. Remember, it was here at the University of Cincinnati that William Taft would receive his law degree in 1880. He would return to this university from 1896 to 1900 to serve as the dean of the College of Law and professor of constitutional law. He would then serve as President of the United States of America from 1909 to 1913, and then Chief Justice of the Supreme Court from 1921 to 1930, the only American to serve as President and Chief Justice of this great country from the University of Cincinnati. UC Law today is the home of the renowned Ohio Innocence Project, which was founded in 2003. Harnessing the energy and intellect of law students as its driving force, the Ohio Innocence Project seeks to identify inmates in Ohio prisons who are actually innocent of the crimes that they were convicted of. The Ohio Innocence Project to date has helped 13 individuals obtain their long-sought freedom. Remember, it was here at the University of Cincinnati that Herman Schneider invented cooperative education. Intercalating classroom and laboratory education with real-world work experience, he dared to imagine and to innovate. The University of Cincinnati Board of Trustees at the time allowed Schneider to, quote, try this cooperative idea of education for 1 year only, for the failure of which they would not be held responsible, unquote. The cooperative education program was a phenomenon, with more than 900 universities around the globe adopting what is now known, and I say proudly, the Cincinnati Plan. The University of Cincinnati revisited the idea at its September 2005 board meeting, declaring that the not 1 year, but the 100-year experiment of cooperative education officially ended, for the success of which the Board of Trustees assumed full responsibility. As you know, today co-op continues to thrive at UC, and at any given time, 6,000 students are participating in co-op experiences around the world, earning approximately $46 million per year in their placements. But we don't want to rest on our laurels. We also want to continue to innovate and push the envelope, because this is the University of Cincinnati. Under a framework called UC Forward, we have evolved co-op to also include interdisciplinary education and extended the experiential component of the curriculum to not only include real work experience, but to focus on problems such as the creation of the first healthcare facility or the first educational facility in the Roche region of Tanzania, or more closer to home, on the revitalization of the over-the-Rhine neighborhood in inner-city Cincinnati. Remember, it was here at the University of Cincinnati that Albert Sabin developed the oral polio vaccine in the 1950s. Albert Sabin in Cincinnati, Jonas Salk in Pittsburgh developed 2 variants of the vaccine. Sabin's live attenuated vaccine was easier to administer, and its immune protection lasted longer than Salk's killed vaccine. There was also a reduced possibility of transmission of the polio virus to others. In 1960, 2 years prior to my birth, 180,000 school children would be vaccinated in Cincinnati, and 100 million people would be vaccinated with the Sabin vaccination around the world, including myself. Sabin would win the American Nobel, the Lasker Award, as well as the National Medal of Science and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. In more recent years, UC would continue to shine as a beacon in the world of medical science. Until December of last year, UC would be home to a mentor of mine from the University of Chicago and another Lasker Award winner, Elwood Jensen. Our distinguished university professor and Weill Chair of Cancer Research. Jensen discovered the estrogen receptor and a subsequent superfamily of nuclear hormone receptors. His work would show how the receptors participate in human and child development, but would also form the basis of several therapeutic approaches for the treatment of breast cancer. Women are still alive today because of his work. And even today, Joe Broderick, our Albert Barnes Voorhees Chair of Neurology, has performed groundbreaking research on stroke that has literally changed how we treat and care for patients with stroke, and once again, saves thousands of lives each year. It was Joe Broderick at the University of Cincinnati who led clinical research and patient trials demonstrating the effectiveness of the clot-busting drug tissue plasminogen activator, or TPA, to treat acute ischemic stroke. Remember, it was here at the University of Cincinnati that Neil Armstrong chose to join our faculty as professor of aerospace engineering following his retirement from NASA and his famous first step on the moon on Apollo 11. Although he received numerous invitations to teach at colleges, including his alma mater, Purdue, Neil chose UC because he believed in the ethos of the institution and thought that it matched his own. There's that word again, ethos. Neil wanted to join an outstanding college of engineering that had transformed the field, but was attracted to the understated excellence of UC. While at UC, he placed students at the center and taught students general concepts of aerodynamics in now legendary paper airplane contests. Let's face it, even Neil Armstrong was committed to marrying theory and real-world experimentation with a piece of paper. But Armstrong was also committed to thinking outside the box while he was here, and was a key member of a UC think tank called HARP, H for Heimlich, A for Armstrong, R for Revachol, and P for Patrick. They were four of UC's, Cincinnati's, and the country's finest thinkers, converging on this campus to dare to imagine of transformative concepts at the cutting edge of knowledge. We are lucky to have in our collection some of HARP's actual experiments, such as one of the first prototype artificial hips that many of you may know of today. And today, this pioneering spirit continues with our formidable aerospace group, with the College of Engineering and Applied Science, and our exciting collaboration in this area with GE Aviation via our newly launched University of Cincinnati Research Institute, or UCRI. Faculty members such as Jason Heichenfeld and Andrew Steckel have moved UC to the very penetrating cutting edge of areas such as microfluidics and nanoelectronics, where we are the world leaders in these transformative technologies. And finally, remember, it was here at the University of Cincinnati that Nancy Zimpher, one of my predecessors as UC president, collaborated with Father Michael Graham of Xavier and Jim Votruba of NKU to launch something very special called the Strive Partnership, aimed at improving the entire educational experience from cradle to career for students in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. This partnership between our universities, companies, government, and school systems is now a national model for public-private partnerships focused on enhancing the K-16 educational experience and ultimately contributing to workforce development in this state and this country. Multiple municipalities across the nation come to us to learn how to mirror our approach in their communities. And today, we continue to play a leading role in this effort, participating in new initiatives such as the Read On campaign, where we are making a push to get all children in this area reading at the grade level by the end of third grade, and in developing a mentorship program for area students involving both higher education and corporate leaders. Imagine that, our children being mentored by our CEOs. These are just a few of the numerous examples that show that UC today continues our tradition of scholarship and teaching with a real-world impact. So looking into the crystal ball and into the future, what role will UC play in our nation's future? Well, that depends on all of us to protect those core values of imagination, innovation, and real-world connectivity that lie at the core, if I may, lie at the very soul of what is UC. It depends upon our believing in our individual abilities to contribute to the betterment of our planet, and to realize that much is expected from those to whom much has been given, and so much has been given to all of us in this university. It depends upon how, as teachers, we can kindle passion in our students and curiosity, and how, as scholars, we dare to push the boundaries of knowledge and to create new knowledge. Earlier, I mentioned the words written by Francis Scott Key, words that became the national anthem of the United States of America. Another iconic verse that grounds our American ideals is the Pledge of Allegiance, a pledge that all Americans learn by the time they're in kindergarten. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As I look to our university's future, I want to make my own pledge to you here at UC. I pledge to ensure that we remain an institution focused on transforming lives, in creating new knowledge, and increasingly becoming a global change agent, tackling the world's grand challenges. I pledge to serve as a catalyst for innovation and to cultivate a pioneering spirit within this great university. And finally, I promise to always remember that as one of the nation's largest and most research-extensive universities, we will never, never lose sight of our responsibility to America. You have honored me greatly by choosing me to lead the University of Cincinnati. As your 28th president, I pledge to wholeheartedly and passionately serve you and the university. I pledge to you all that I will give everything I have to ensure that we remain true to UC's distinguished history and to our core values. May God bless you. May God bless the university.
Beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. God shed his grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood, from sea to shining sea. Beautiful for patriot dreams that sees beyond
Can we have another round of applause for our soloist Jack and Eccles and the CCM Brass Choir? I am Larry Johnson, the interim provost of the University of Cincinnati. For those of you who may not know what a provost does, I am the university's chief academic officer, and I run the day-to-day academic operations of the university. Today, I have been asked to represent all of UC's faculty, all of UC staff, and our students to offer our heartfelt congratulations to our new president, Santa Ono. Santa, you are a leader who represents all of us, respects all of us, no matter what our job title, and this is a quality that we greatly appreciate. We are also confident that it is a quality that will allow this university to continue to excel. As an example of President Ono's value, I would like to share a very brief story. I was fortunate to have chaired the search community that brought Santa here as our provost. During that search, we had a scheduling conflict. The day that we wanted to interview Santa was the day that his daughter was going to do a recital. Santa was conflicted, but he told us that if we couldn't change the interview day, he couldn't come and he'd have to decline our offer. Fortunately, we were very impressed with Santa's commitment to his family, so we changed the time, and the rest is history. There are many more positive things that I could say, and I could go on about what a special person he is and the contributions that he's made, but instead, we have prepared a video for many of Santa's supporters so that they can talk about his qualities. Please join me in watching the video.
My first impressions of Santa were of a man who was incredibly smart, but also someone who connected really, really well with people.
A person who is highly intellectual, but still is able to be free and have fun and mix and mingle and get to know everyone on campus.
He's very easy to work with. I remember my first meeting with him. He talks to you, he listens to you, and he's just very, very easy to work with.
My very first impression of Santa Ono was very simply that he was the perfect embodiment of the University of Cincinnati.
Dr. Ono is a Renaissance man. He is in the medical field. He plays the cello at a quite accomplished level.
When I think of Dr. Ono's leadership, I think of energetic, passionate, and driven.
You meet him once and you know this is a visionary person.
He listens, but he's also able to make decisions that have to be made for the university.
He's very inclusive of the students. He's very open to their feedback, and you can always tell the passion that he has for the University of Cincinnati.
He does more than anybody else I know in a shorter period of time. He always does it with a smile and an infectious enthusiasm, and he engages a broad range of people very skillfully.
And so as we talk about a person who's able to rise above but not lose the common touch, I think that epitomizes Dr. Ono.
Everyone just rallies around him, not only the community, but also the very important students here on campus.
I have the opportunity to interact with Dr. Ono, President Ono, on a daily basis, and the same guy that you see on Twitter and Facebook is the same guy in the office and the same guy that's walking around Main Street engaging all the students.
It's contagious. There's something about his leadership that makes others want to step up, be bold, push themselves, and see what we can accomplish together. It's great fun to work with Santa.
And probably most importantly, he operates with a high degree of integrity and honesty.
Character, that's a big one. At the end of the day, I know he wants to do what's right and what's right by UC, and he takes that charge very seriously.
Santa, congratulations on your investiture as the 28th president of the University of Cincinnati. If I could give you a little advice, it would be keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're doing. Always continue to push us forward.
Pace yourself, dear. You can't do it all. You've got time. And there's a season for everything.
I'd recommend that you continue to do your thing.
Santa, take time to enjoy this role. Just take it all in.
You're doing great. I have no advice for you other than one thing, and you haven't done it yet, but before we play Purdue, don't get them too fired up on Twitter, because we need a win on opening night.
The advice I give you is to stay energetic.
Stay the course.
Is to keep rocking your awesome bow ties.
Santa, you're a great leader. I will follow you anywhere.
Thanks to your prolific tweeting, more people than ever before know what a great place this is. So thanks, keep it up, and congratulations on your investiture as president of the University of Cincinnati.
When the wife says you gotta slow down, gotta slow down. Before we begin the final minutes of our ceremony, I do want to take a moment for us to show our appreciation to CCM for hosting us, first of all, this morning, and for the outstanding musical performances we have witnessed today. In addition to vocal performers Thomas Richards and Jacqueline Eccles and cello soloist Carmen Miranda, let's show our appreciation to the excellent CCM Brass Choir conducted by Timothy Northcutt. And I'll tell you that Professor Northcutt drove back from St. Paul, Minnesota overnight to make it in time, and it was snowing up there. And now I'd ask you to please remain standing for the benediction led this morning by Rabbi Julie Schwartz of Hebrew Union College. Once again, please remain standing for the benediction, and after the benediction, remain standing for the alma mater.
Soul of the universe, source of life, knowledge, and light, we give thanks to you on this joyous occasion. We are joined as one community with a passion for learning and teaching, for healing and discovering, for creating and renewing. We look to you as the inspiration for these human endeavors, and we feel your presence on this day. Be with this new leader and grant him strength, patience, and humor as he engages and encourages all the members of the UC family. Give him vision to see all that the university can become, and give him the tenacity to transform that vision into reality. Be with all his dear ones as he takes on this magnificent burden, and let them feel reassured that his efforts will be worthy of the late nights and early mornings that the school demands from him. In the Hebrew Scriptures, we find words of reassurance that Joshua received as he took on the mantle of leadership from Moses. Moses said to him, "Chazak ve'amatz," be strong and be of good courage, and know that God is walking with you. So we also say to you, President Ono, knowing that strength, courage, and the support of the divine will provide you with the elements needed to undertake this momentous task. And as we end this service of investiture, on behalf of the entire University of Cincinnati community, using words from Jewish tradition, I pray that we may grow from strength to strength, and so find that each success and accomplishment leads us to the next challenge, the next opportunity, and the next proud achievement. Ken Yehi Ratzon, be this God's will. Amen.
Once again, please remain standing for the alma mater. It will be led today by the UC men's and women's choruses, accompanied by the CCM Brass Choir. The choruses will sing the first verse, and the entire auditorium is asked to join in repeating the first verse. That means all of you gotta sing.
Santa, on behalf of the university's faculty, I congratulate you on your investiture as our 28th president. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning. Please remain seated as first the president and platform party and then the institutional delegates and faculty march out. This investiture ceremony is now concluded. Thank you.